Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. By now, most of you have heard the big news which broke yesterday, which is that it turns out the SEC's having a little bit of a change of heart. Whereas before, everybody under the sun agreed, including myself, that there's about a 0% chance, a snowball's chance in hell, of a spot Ethereum ETF getting approved, with a final decision on that needing to be made from the SEC very soon. But we're finding out that the SEC's having a change of heart. In fact, I'll show you, the SEC actually told exchanges that they're probably going to approve it, the spot ETF. So what is actually going on here? Well, there are reports that all sorts of panic has set in at the White House, with this administration finally recognizing, presumably, that agree to which this anti-crypto stance is a horrible political decision. Turns out that there is no anti-crypto constituency, but there is a pro-crypto constituency. Stupid as hell. How dumb can these people be? So I'll share with you the latest, but there is an analyst with Bloomberg, ETF analyst with Bloomberg, and he said, and I quote, "It's happening." So the reason this is exciting is because, and look, whether you hold ETH or don't, this is going to be incredible for the entire asset class. This can be the catalyst that sends alt season just right on moving. So I'm not going to talk as much about market stuff in this video. I'm planning on covering that in a separate video, but I do want to get you caught up to speed on what's being discussed today and the latest developments, because it looks like this actually is probably going to happen. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. All right, so here's the post from yesterday that set this all off, just to quickly set the table, and then we're going to get into all of the new stuff. This is yesterday afternoon from Eric Balkunas. He's a senior ETF analyst for Bloomberg, and he said, "Update, James Seifert and I," he's the other well-known Bloomberg ETF guy. "James Seifert and I are increasing our odds of spot Ether ETF approval to 75%, up from 25%. Hearing chatter this afternoon that SEC could be doing a 180 on this increasingly political issue. So now everyone's scrambling like us. Everyone else assumed they'd be denied. See Nate's tweet below for probably order events. He means probable order events. But again, we're capping at 75% until we see more, e.g. filing updates." And so that is what happened. Here's a quote from James Seifert. He says, "Update, it's happening. We have at least 5 of the potential Ethereum ETF issuers that have submitted their amended 19B4s in the last 25 minutes. Fidelity, Van Eck, Invesco / Galaxy, ARK 21 shares, and Franklin all submitted via CBOE." So folks, it's moving forward. They've been told, hey, probably going to get approved. I'll show you that post. It's the next tab I've got coming up here. And so, to be clear, I'm not saying that the amount of money that's going to flow in as a result of a spot ETH ETF is what's going to cause the market to move. I think it was an inevitability that the market would move anyway. It's just a question of, is this something that would trigger it to snap out of its funk it's been in the last couple of months now? Or if this doesn't get approved, do we have to range sideways a little bit longer? That's really all I'm getting, just to be clear. I'm not one of the people out there that thinks there's some sort of material amount of money, whether it's Bitcoin or the spot ETH ETF, this market cycle, for it to be particularly meaningful. My mindset has consistently been that the amount of money that flows into both the Bitcoin spot ETF and if there's an ETH one, that too, it's going to be very substantial over a span of years and decades, but it's not going to be that consequential, other than getting market participants very excited. So there, things like this can be catalysts, but I think that this is coming regardless. And then James also said, "Still a potentially long way from a launch, but these filings prove that all of the rumors and speculation and chatter have been accurate. Need to actually see SEC approval orders on all the 19B-4s, and then we need to see S1 approvals. Could be weeks or more before ETFs launch." So folks, even if it's weeks before it launches, we're going to have the decision, if it's going to happen, within a couple days, it sounds like. So check this out. He also says, "This is the only meaningful and substantial change that I can find, removing the staking language and adding very clear language that the fund's ETH cannot be staked by anyone. Yes, this was expected at this point, but nothing else jumps out at me." So then there was this post from Watcher Guru on social media platform X. I shared this morning. They wrote, just in, SEC informs exchanges it is leaning towards approving spot Ethereum ETFs, Barron's reports. And that is indeed correct. And that's been reported by all sorts of other outlets. I shared a story, and I'm going to share with you part of this story. It's from The Block. And I wrote the following. I thought the SEC wouldn't approve a spot ETH ETF, but there's new information which has been leaking since yesterday, and I'm no longer so confident. Of course, if this actually happens, it's absolutely political. I still think my initial suspicions were logical, and this is more about whatever direction the wind is blowing. And so, folks, it's not the case that this whole time the SEC has been thinking they're going to prove it. Something very recently changed. Might it have to do largely with the fact that we're in a political season here in the United States? We have an election in November. And so here's the headline from The Block. SEC's lack of internal coordination suggests Ethereum ETF pivot entirely political, source says. It's crunch time as firms grapple with the Securities and Exchange Commission's seemingly sudden shift in potentially approving spot Ether exchange-traded funds. On Monday, the SEC's Division of Trading and Markets called exchanges to tell them that they would be approving 19B-4s this week, according to a person familiar. This comes as Barron's reports that SEC staff told exchanges on Monday that it was leaning toward approving them, citing people familiar with the matter. So, folks, I know it's not a guaranteed slam dunk technically here, but it does seem like it's highly probable this is actually going to happen. Market will respond to this news. That would be my guess. To what degree, we'll find out together, but yes. Piece continues. This is a 180-degree turn from what the SEC told issuers 2 weeks ago when the agency showed no interest in the filings, a person familiar told The Block. It is a completely unprecedented situation, which means it's entirely political, the source said. So that's a direct quote. This is political reasoning. So whatever way the wind's blowing, that's what's going to happen, right? Issuers who are then responsible for S1s began making calls to the SEC. However, examiners within the SEC's Division of Corporation Finance were seemingly not on the same page as the agency's Division of Trading and Markets, the source familiar with the situation said. Notably, the SEC's Division of Trading and Markets approves 19B-4s, while the agency's Division of Corporation Finance is in charge of S1s. And so here's a quote from that person. They're not even internally coordinated yet, which is why this is most likely a political decision, end quote. Some sources speculate that the SEC's change of heart could be politically motivated as elections are approaching quickly. Former President Donald Trump has appeared to be pro-crypto over the past month. The former president told a crowd that bought his NFTs that President Joe Biden doesn't know what crypto is and said, quote, if you like crypto in any form, and it comes in a lot of different forms, if you are in favor of crypto, you better vote for Trump, end quote. And by the way, I'm not going to read the story. The headline, it says enough, frankly, but look at this from CNBC today. Trump campaign starts taking cryptocurrency donations, vows to build a crypto army. So I'm not thrilled with what happened under his administration as it pertains to crypto previously, but way worse under Biden. And he's you know what he's found is that there's a voter block here. That's what this is. And so my suspicion is that he's going to follow through with all things pro crypto. I would believe that absolutely. There's also this, as far as the panic. Take a look at this. This is a quote from Emily Choi, President and Chief Operating Officer at Coinbase, says that panic has set in. Take a look at this quote. So she says, panic at the White House. Quote, the tone from the SEC has just changed literally overnight. The administration sensing some panic, end quote. And that was at some sort of JP Morgan conference. That's where that statement came from. Wild stuff here. And so I'm still super curious as to whether or not Biden is going to go ahead and veto that bill that recently passed the House and the Senate, SAB 121, which is anti-crypto and has to do with making it basically impossible for legacy finance to custody crypto. He said that he's gonna veto that. Now I'm wondering if he's actually going to. There seems like just they said a 180 here. It's crazy. And so I reposted that and I wrote, panic sets in. Being anti-crypto is a political loser. Where is this anti-crypto constituency? It doesn't exist. But on the flip side, there is an ever-growing pro-crypto constituency. This is not rocket science. It's just taking the idiots in the Biden administration and various bureaucrats some time to figure it out. We are winning, and we will win. And so I don't care where you are politically. I mentioned this in every video where I talk about this stuff. I don't care if somebody's on the left or the right. That's not what it's about for me. This is not a political channel. It's just that they're jumping into my world, which is finance and crypto. I don't care, but I'm going to call out any politician that is anti-crypto because they're against my financial well-being. And that's just, and so it just is the case that this administration is terrible for crypto. And frankly, it's the entire party, almost. The vast majority of Democrats in the House and Senate are anti-crypto, almost all of them. There are some who have defected, love to see it, I give them credit, I really do. But we need to identify the problem. As I've said many times, it's not like I'm not making this partisan, the politicians made this partisan. And if you're going to pretend like there is no partisanship here, that's literally not in line with reality, so that bothers me enough. But I don't see how you're going to fix the problem if you're not willing to even address what the problem is. It's a party line issue. They're just towing the party line. We can't pretend like that's not what's happening here. So it's pretty exciting stuff here. I guess at this point, I didn't think I'd ever say this, but I guess we're probably, don't know for sure, but probably going to get a spot ETH ETF under Kim Jong-Gensler's reign. That's surprising. Oh man, we got some wild times ahead of us. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.